I'm Danielle with Bhav Brigade. Thank you for joining us for our weekly Wednesday Flow at Home. We're excited now to be able to partner with the Slover Library, who is also going to be linking to our classes available on our Bhav Brigade YouTube channel. If you are new to Bhav Brigade, welcome. We are a pop-up platform that soon is going to be celebrating our 5-year anniversary later in May. We're very grateful that we can still connect with you from our homes, and all of our classes are free or donation based. There's information on our YouTube channel as well as our different social media accounts where we are going to promote the videos. If you would like to donate, know that during this time of the pandemic, 100% of donations are going back to local organizations like the food bank, domestic violence shelters, and also some area restaurants and small businesses that are really struggling right now, as we all are. Some of us are struggling financially. Probably most of us are struggling with our emotions, sleep regulation, and one bit of good news of information about this time of shared struggle is that the yoga practice of breathing and mindful movement is something that has been scientifically proven to help with our sleep regulation. I am not a medical doctor, but there are plenty of links that we can share with you, or you can look up on your own. If you are someone that is, wanting to look for the published research about some of these studies, and we're happy to share some of those, or send us some messages on our social accounts or bhavbrigade@gmail.org. Okay, now that our announcements are out of the way, I invite you, if you are not already, to find a comfortable seat and arrive in your space. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Close the eyes if that feels available to you, or gaze softly down the tip of your nose. And feel settled in your seat. You may see my puppy wander in. Hi, Keegan. I call him a puppy, but he's 10 years old. Continue your breath. I'm going to get Keegan his mat. Forgot to bring it in. He's wanting to be near me. Here, Keegan. There's your mat. Do you want it? Okay. He was just coming in to say hi. Continue to find your space. There you go, buddy. Feel connected to the earth by way of your seat. Grow tall through the crown of the head. And take a few more rounds of natural breath wherever you are. Acknowledge the thoughts and the feelings that you have brought with you to your mat, and then try and let them go. Bring 100% of your attention to the present moment of your breath. Now, for those of you that have practiced pedestal mudra with me, you can keep your eyes closed as I cue us. For those of you that might be new to this, if you want to flutter the eyes open, we're going to bring the palms to our heart space. And on an inhale, we'll reach the palms up so that the forearms come together. The elbows are approximately at shoulder height. You'll feel the shoulders kind of say good morning or good afternoon or good evening, wherever it is you are. So right now I have my arms shifted just so I can see you, but your palms will actually be in front of your face like this. And then we'll open at the base of the palms like a flower. So the fingers kind of spread wide and out. And on the exhale, palms will come together at the heart space. Widen through the elbows so the fingertips touch. Kind of like we're moving through a pool of water. So now I invite you to close your eyes, or you can keep them open for a moment if you want to follow along. But you'll move at your pace. Inhale, reaching the arms up, spread the fingertips out. Base of the palms touch. On your exhale, palms down toward the heart space. Widen through the elbows so the fingertips touch. Continuing, inhale, lifting up. Exhale, coming down. Inhale up. Exhale down. A few more times. another round. This time on your next inhale, bring the palms to the heart space. The shoulders settle away from the ears. Exhale, side out. Keeping the eyes closed if that feels good for you. As always, I like to begin my practices with you all with a single round of Om, which is the sound of the universe. And at the risk of sounding like a yoga teacher with my head in the clouds, sometimes that's good for us. When I say something like the sound of the universe, the sound of everything and nothing at the same time, it might sound a little woo-woo. For those of you that may not know, I'm also an academic. I'm a professor at Christopher Newport University in my other life, so yoga does help me, kind of balance out that harder academic, scientific, research-based side with the idea of connection. Even if yoga isn't a spiritual practice for you, that's wonderful. For me, it is. I like that balance. So I invite you to set an intention, either for yourself or someone else. And with our collective Om, we'll seal that intention and send it out into the universe. You can always just listen to the vibration. First, let's take a deep breath in. Sigh it out. Inhale for Om. Inhale, softly flutter the eyes open. And if you've been sitting cross-legged in one position for a while, go ahead and switch. I should mention, I am sitting on a folded blanket. I have blocks available here for my home practice. So since I was making announcements earlier, I forgot to remind you that if you have props at home, a block, a really sturdy book, a water bottle that has a closed flat top that is about this height, right, might sometimes function as a nice block, blanket, a pillow, anything that's going to make your practice more comfortable. So inhale, let's reach the arms up. Exhale, twist it out to your right. So the right arm's going to come behind you, left palm comes across the side of the body toward the right thigh. Turn the right hip forward so you're twisting from the mid and upper back. Now, try not to overextend your direction of your neck and chin toward your right. Maybe, in fact, just to ease off a little bit, you turn your chin opposite direction, so toward your left. Maybe even drop your left ear toward your left shoulder. Get a nice stretch. I know that feels really good on the side of my neck. Really lengthen through the spine, but notice a bit of an opening along the right side of the neck. Inhale, lift your head up if it's down as you come back to neutral. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, let's twist it out to the other side, making adjustments as needed. Again, not overextending, turning toward your left shoulder. Maybe you can turn your neck toward your right shoulder. And we exhale, let the ear drop toward your right shoulder. Nice stretch along the left side of the neck. Remember to turn that left hip forward a little bit if it's trying to come into the twist. Inhale, lift up the head. Exhale, reach the arms up as the palms come down toward the heart space. Inhale, sigh it out. All right, we're going to work on trying to work into the outside of the hip flexors a little bit today, a little bit on shoulder opening, hence beginning with pedestal mudra. So I invite you, if you aren't on a blanket or a towel, and you sometimes, it helps to have your knees settle in if your hips are lifted up a little bit high on some seated hip openers, take a moment and grab a blanket. Again, it's completely optional. And I should mention that I am going to, the best of my abilities, mirror you at the times that I am facing the camera. So since that is one of these times, I'm going to cue you but I'll be doing my best to mirror you on the other side. So go ahead and reach both legs out for a moment. Go ahead and flex the toes. And then bend your right knee, and then cross the right knee kind of right on top of the left leg, just where the thigh is meeting the knee. So we're not crossing for a twist with our foot on the ground, but the knee's kind of stacked on top. This is a great spot to begin. If you want to try bending your left knee, which is your bottom knee, bringing the foot back where kind of the feet are approximately kind of on the same plane. That is not the goal of the pose. If your hip lifts up and doesn't feel comfortable and grounded, or if there's any sensation that is more than sensation, feeling almost painful, then definitely re-extend your lower leg. Now, bring your arms out to a T on an inhale, and since your right knee is on top, then bring your right arm underneath as you cross. Bring your palms behind you. Give yourself a nice hug. Let the shoulders come away from the ears. So we're not going into a full expression of our cow-facing pose, which is, I know is a weird name. Gomukhasana in Sanskrit. So we're kind of in what we would call Gomukhasana in our legs, but I'm just taking a different expression with our arms. Let the shoulders settle away from the ears. Gaze softly down the tip of the nose if your eyes are open. Give yourself a squeeze. And now inhale, re-extend the arms out to the side. Drop them. And then lengthen through your left leg. Take the right leg off. And now just find staff pose, Dandasana, for a moment. So the feet are flexed with the toes coming toward the torso, active through the legs, palms pressed to the earth, shoulders away from the ears. Now let's bend our left knee. Cross the left knee on top of the right leg. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you bend the right knee, bring it underneath you. Check to see the comfort level of your feet and the hips. Feel grounded. Bring your arms out to a T, and since your left knee is on top, now bring your left arm underneath. Give yourself another hug. Take a squeeze, and then settle the shoulders away from the ears. Flutter the eyes closed, or gaze softly down the tip of your nose. Notice if you have any tension in the jaw or the forehead that you can release with your exhale. Couple more breaths here. Inhale, re-extend the arms. Exhale, let them drop as you lengthen through your right leg and your left. Dandasana for a couple of breaths. Okay, bend the knees. Maybe you can bring the palms underneath the thighs. Give yourself a squeeze if that feels good. Now, I'm going to move my blocks out of the way for the moment. I've been having a home practice now for almost 40 days, give or take, since we've had the stay-at-home orders to be safe. And I've noticed as I've been practicing on the hardwood floors, I'm definitely needing a blanket for more padding underneath my knees. So I'm going to take a moment, as you might as well, to think about folding up a towel or a blanket, smoothing out the edges. All right, reposition it kind of in the middle of your mat. We're going to do some wrist warm-ups and some cat-cows. So let's come into tabletop. I'm going to place my knees hip-width apart on the blanket. Palms are going to come underneath my shoulders. Draw in through the lower belly. So we're trying to eliminate kind of the droop of the spine and the belly to really feel like just a little bit of puffing up through the low back, just a little bit. Spread the fingers nice and wide, bring the thumbs in about halfway. And now slowly take your right palm toward the right. I'll go ahead and use my left palm just so you can see since it's facing the camera. Turn your right palm out toward the right, a quarter of a turn. If that feels good and you want to try and turn it full half turn, or a half turn, fingertips face toward your thighs, And then make small circles. So if that doesn't feel great, come back to that quarter rotation. Just notice what direction you're kind of moving the hips around a little bit. Small or larger circles, totally up to you. And I'll go the other direction. So the palm is still the same on the right. But you're going the other direction with the hips. On your next exhale, slowly turn the palms forward. Inhale, turn your left palm out to the left, quarter of a turn. Notice how that feels. And maybe you turn it a half turn so the fingers are coming toward your thigh. Start to make those smaller, larger circles with the hips. Sternum faces forward. You're looking slightly down and forward. Notice which direction you're going with the hips and go the other way for a few breaths. Now on the next exhale, slowly turn the palms forward. Inhale, shine the chest forward. So the belly drops a little bit, let the shoulders come away from the ears. We're exaggerating this first cow pose. And then exhale, press into the palms, really round through the spine. Readjust if needed so you can really round like a cat, like an angry cat, which some of our cats, if you have them, might be angry at you for being home all the time, but we can't help it. All right, now we'll move one breath, one movement. Inhale, arch, shine the heart forward. Exhale, round, moving with your breath. Reach forward on your inhale. Rounding on your exhale. Couple more cycles. On your next inhale, find neutral, our tabletop position. Exhale, bring the feet together. So widen the knees. I'm going to go ahead and remove my blanket. It's fine if you want to keep it there. And then walk the palms forward, forehead to the earth. So with the knees a little wider, there's space for your belly. But if you have your knees closer together, that's fine. So the forehead's going to come toward the earth. Go ahead and stay in child's pose, but I'm lifting up just so I can project a little bit better to talk a little bit more about balasana. Sometimes if you have blocks, bringing the blocks to your palms or a block to the forehead might be useful. If you ever want to come to balasana, again, child's pose, as a restorative measure or a break in between postures, sometimes having a blanket between the thighs and the heels feels really good. So wherever you are, take a few more breaths in your child's pose, knowing that it's there for you. Cozy friend throughout your practice. And if it doesn't feel cozy and comforting for you, a seated position is great instead. Now, if your arms aren't already fully extended, you're going to walk your palms forward about one palm length as you tuck the toes. Keep a very deep bend in the knee. So lift the torso, kind of looking down so the neck is long. Toes are, or the bottoms of the toes are to the earth. Sorry, I'm human. Lost my train of thought. Deep bend in the knees so you have a shelf for your torso as you slowly exhale, start to lift the hips, but don't straighten the legs just yet. Let the ears rest comfortably between the upper arms, as opposed to last week's video when I said let your ears rest between your ears. Deep bend in the knee. And now just start bending even deeper into the right knee and then the left. So with each breath movement, bending one knee at a time. Maybe you find some other movement of lengthening the legs just a little bit and then letting the heels come to one side. Keep breathing. And on your next breath, the heels come to the other side. Keep breathing for a cycle here. Inhale, come back to neutral, rise to
The balls of the feet, really lift the hips up. Stay on the balls of the feet, really bend the knees deeply, almost so that your shins are parallel with the earth. Pull the lower ribs in. Exhale, slowly draw the heels toward the earth as the hips come back in space. Again, I cannot stress enough that the goal is not to have the heels touching the earth. The goal is lengthen the spine. And so if a bend in the knee helps facilitate that, go for it. But do start to notice some opening in the backs of the legs. Maybe turn the armpits in slightly toward the heart space. Activate through the forearms. So we don't want to press all of our weight into the wrists. So you inhale, look forward. Exhale, slowly walk the feet forward toward the front of your mat. Inhale, half lift. Palms can come to the shins or fingertips to the earth. Exhale, fold, bend the knees. Find a closed chain so the palms can drape behind the neck. If you want to interlace the fingers, palms can clasp opposite elbows. Maybe let the upper body sway. If you have any bind, exhale, release. Bring the palms to the hip creases. Have a bend in the knee. Inhale for this first one. Hinge up from the hips. Maybe the arms reach. Exhale, palms at the heart space and alongside the body. This is Tadasana. Either look down at your feet or energetically notice that the feet are parallel. For me, I always inevitably have to turn my heels out just slightly because my hips externally want to naturally rotate. So just notice what you're working with. Shoulders coming away from the ears, actively pressing through the fingertips. I like to have my palms face open toward the front of my mat when I know I want to be in an active mountain pose. But to make this more restful, but still a strong pose, you can have the fingertips reaching down with the arms kind of rotating internally. Whatever you're looking for. Sometimes you need a moment of rest. Inhale, flutter the eyes open if they're not already. Reach the arms up overhead. Maybe get a bit of an upper back bend. Exhale, palms down through the heart space. Bend knees as you shine the heart forward, butt comes back. Fold. Inhale, find your half lift. Exhale, step the right leg back to a low lunge on the ball of the right foot. Inhale, look forward to lengthen the spine. And since I have blocks here, I'm going to grab them. I'm going to bring the blocks underneath my palms, to underneath my shoulders. Have them on the medium height. You may want to have them on the highest or the lowest. In fact, actually, I'm going to put them on the lowest for now, and you'll see why. A couple classes ago, I mentioned having the blocks on the lowest angle, if you have them, can be helpful for our flow of coming from downward dog to stepping forward, and I'll demo that later. We'll practice that together. But again, don't feel left out if you don't have blocks. I have them, so I am using them. Right knee is stacked on top, the left knee is stacked on top of the left ankle. I'm not mirroring you right now. You're looking forward. Exhale, press back, down dog. And if you're on blocks, that's okay. If the blocks are on the lowest height. Otherwise, move your blocks and then press back to down dog. Inhale, shift forward. So we're in upper push-up. Let's take a couple moments to hang out in here. So, if your butt is lifted up, can you lower it to approximately about where your shoulders are? If your belly's sagging, lift the buttocks, shine the sternum, that breastbone forward, shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, release the knees just behind the hips. Bring the toenails to the earth. Inhale, shift halfway forward. Exhale, come halfway or a quarter of the way down. So we have a nice bend in the elbows that are drawing in near the rib cage. Exhale, press the chest forward. Lift off the knees. Exhale, roll over the toes. Find downward facing dog. Now I cued that for those of us that were in blocks. If you have your own flow practice where you come all the way down, which I often cue, that's Lovely, but with the block, sometimes it's nice to practice a half chaturanga with the knees down. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk the feet to meet the hands. Half lift, inhale. Exhale, fold. Bend in the knees, you inhale, slowly roll up vertebra by vertebra this time. Notice how that rounding up feels. Maybe the arms reach and palms touch. Exhale, palms at the heart space and alongside the body. Inhale, arms reach. Exhale, fold it forward. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, reach your left leg back behind you. We're gonna hang out here for a few breaths just to be fair to the other side here. Right knee stacks on top of the right ankle. As you inhale, you're looking forward. If you didn't try blocks earlier, you wanna grab them, go for it. Shoulders away from the ears. On your next exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Inhale, shift forward to plank or upper push-up. Exhale, release the knees, bring the toenails to the earth. Inhale, shift slightly forward. As you exhale, bend a quarter or halfway. Draw the shoulders away from the ears, sternum strides forward. Inhale, press the heart forward. Lift off the kneecaps if that feels good. Keep the lower ribs pulled in. As you exhale, draw the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Inhale. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, step, or maybe you hop your way to the mat. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold, move the blocks out of the way if you'd like. Inhale, coming up in whatever way feels best for your body. Exhale, palms at the heart space and alongside the body. Inhale, arms reach, heart lifts. Exhale, heart forward, butt back, knees bent, folding to the earth. Half lift on an inhale. Exhale, this time press your right foot back. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, release your back knee. And again, I'm going to grab my blanket. Going to now lift my back knee. So if you're doing the same, go ahead and lift through the right knee. Lengthen the leg first, then release the right knee to the blanket or back to the earth. I'm going to bring my toenails to the earth because that's my preference, but you can keep the toes tucked if you liked. And then on an inhale, bring the palms to the left thigh. Lift out of the bend for a moment. Notice how that feels. Now re-bend a little bit more into the left knee, but try not to dump into your hip flexibility. So stay strong through the core of the pelvis. Either choose to stay here. Inhale, reach the arms up. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, palms to the earth. Tuck the right toes, lift the back knee. Press back to your plank or your down dog. From plank, release the knees behind the hips. Bend the elbows, come down in one long line so I can demo the forehead all the way to the earth. Inhale. Use the back of the ribs to lift up and lengthen through the spine. Elbows draw in. Exhale, tuck the toes, hips back toward the heels for just a moment as you lift up to downward facing dog. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Inhale, step the right foot up between your palms. Exhale, release the left knee. Take a moment to notice how that feels. If you need to readjust or lengthen through the back of the left leg. Inhale, bring the palms to the right thigh. Lift out of the right knee bend for a moment.
Exhale, rebend. Notice how this feels. Stay strong through the pelvic core. Pull the lower ribs in. Inhale, maybe reach the arms up overhead. Listen carefully. This time, exhale, palms frame the front foot. Inhale, tuck the left toes, lift the back knee, look forward. Exhale, on as many steps as it takes, step the left foot forward to meet the right, folding in. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up in whatever way is best for your body. Exhale, palms to the heart space and alongside the body. So I'm going to cue us through that same round, but on the other side. I'm going to add a little bit onto it. And on this sequence, I won't be mirroring you, and I'm only mentioning that because at one moment, I'm going to have us come into a twist. So I will be twisting with you, not mirroring you, just giving you a heads up. Inhale, blink the eyes open, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold it forward. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, step the left knee back. The left leg back, and I guess the knee comes with it. Inhale for length. Exhale, release your left knee. Maybe the toenails. Left palm is going to stay underneath the left arm. So the left palm is going to stay underneath the left shoulder. It's only about 9:30 my time in the morning on Tuesday as I'm recording this. So I'm inevitably gonna flub, like even when I'm not mirroring you, it's happening. Right palm comes to the right thigh as you lengthen on your inhale. Exhale, twist it out to the right. So I'm twisting to the right as well. Try and draw the right hip back just a little bit. Now bring the right hip forward. So notice that difference. If you draw the right hip forward now, as you exhale, take the twist a little deeper. Maybe inhale, reach the right arm up overhead. Maybe you tuck the back toes, lift the left knee. Keep breathing. Exhale, release the left knee if you haven't already. Either bring the right palm back to the right thigh to give the arm a break, or bend the left knee, right palm reaches back for the left foot. Try and rebend back into the right knee so the knee is facing forward, tracking over the second and third toes. So you're still in the twist. Modify as needed. So open up the quads a little bit. Maybe a little bit of the hamstrings. Try and draw your right shoulder away from your right ear. Inhale, release mindfully the foot. Palms frame your right foot. Tuck the back toe. Lift the back knee. Press back to plank, down dog, or find child's pose. From plank, shift forward on an inhale. Exhale, maybe keeping the knees lifted this time. Come all the way down, forehead to the earth. Inhale, use the back body to lift the chest, elbows toward each other. Exhale, hips back to the heels, lift up, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and a long breath out. Couple more breaths here. On your next inhale, step your left foot forward in as many steps as it takes. Slowly release the right knee. Right palm's going to stack underneath the right shoulder. Lengthen the chest on the inhale. So you bring the left palm to the left thigh. Exhale, twist it out toward your left. I'm twisting to my left as well. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you twist a little bit deeper, draw the left hip forward. Maybe on an inhale, you reach the left fingertips up. Sometimes I like to do a nice guitar hero movement for my shoulder rotation. My shoulders have been incredibly tight lately from all the desk sitting and online teaching for my university classes. No matter how much yoga I'm practicing. So give yourself some grace. Share some extra love on your exhale to areas that need it right now. Maybe you tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. And if you've done that, go ahead and release the right knee. Bring the left palm to the left thigh. Either choose to stay here and deepen the twist, or as you bend the right knee, lift the right foot, left palm reaches back for that foot. See where your left toes are tracking. The knee's trying to splay in or out. Left shoulder away from the left ear. Inhale, look forward, slowly release the right leg. Palms frame the left foot. Exhale, tuck the back toe, lift the back knee. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, in as many steps as it takes, step the right foot forward to meet the left. Folding in. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Inhale, coming up. Exhale, palms at the heart space and alongside the body. Take a couple moments here. I'm going to take a sip of water. I did remember my inhaler before class this morning, but still want to stay hydrated. So yeah, all that is to say that my breathing does feel a little bit more controlled, but it's still a challenge to teach constantly moving and talking at the same time. I'm up for the challenge, just need to pause once in a while. Okay, if you have any props on your mat, go ahead and remove them. And then come to the middle of your mat, facing toward me. And then step your feet out wide, feet are parallel. Palms can be at the hips for now. Exhale, turn your right toes out to the right as you bend through the right knee. Right knee stacks on top of the right ankle. Notice that you can see your big toe on the inside of your right knee. And then for me, I'm going to slightly turn our left toes just slightly forward. Heel to heel approximately, or heel to arch alignment. Inhale, if you haven't already, bring the arms up to shoulder height. You can either gaze over the right thumb or gaze over the torso. Shoulders on top of hips. Flip the front palm, reach up and back, finding reverse warrior, really feeling length through the torso rather than crunching back behind you. Actively bend through the right knee, pull the lower ribs in. Keep the torso where it's at, but exhale, draw the hips back in space. Inhale, lift the arms as you reach the right arm forward. Exhale, fold into triangle. Either bring the left palm to the left hip to rotate the shoulder. See how that just feels with that extension. Maybe inhale, reach the left arm up, either gazing down or up at your left thumb. Tailbone orients toward your back heel, your left heel, without locking in the knees. Now on your next exhale, look down. Start to bend into your right knee as you bring your palms to frame your right foot. Come to the ball of your left foot. So we're in a modified lunge. I'm tenting my fingertips right now because my blocks are behind me. Actively bending through the right knee. Now using the core, bring the palms to the hip creases. Inhale, lift up. Really activate through your left knee, or excuse me, the back of the left leg. And I'm actually going to step my back foot forward slightly, and you may want to as well. Hips are forward. Arms reach up on your inhale. high lunge. Just notice how this feels. This is going to be a prep pose for when we come into our final standing sequence a little bit later, since we're just getting started with some of the standing poses. Just notice how this feels. Notice the strength in the lower body. Notice your strength. Notice your balance. As you exhale, open wide to warrior two. Maybe step the back foot back a little bit more. Take a couple of breaths here. Inhale, lengthen through both legs. Exhale, turn both feet parallel. Palms beside you. And then just kind of let the arms sway a little bit. Hips kind of stay forward. Give your arms a break. And bring the palms to the hips. Exhale, turn your left toes toward the left of your mat as you bend through the left knee. Notice what's happening with the right foot. Just kind of slightly turned forward. Pressing to the outer edge of your right foot. Inhale, arms reach. So you flip the front palm, reach up and back, finding your reverse warrior. Shoulders away from the ears. Keeping the torso where it's at, inhale, lengthen through the legs to reach the arms up. Reach, reach, reach forward. Yep, I heard hip pop, maybe you did too. Exhale, left palm finds the left shin, right palm to the right hip, draw the hip and shoulder back. Maybe inhale, reach the right fingertips up as you gaze up or down without locking the knees. Tailbone toward your right heel. Look down if you're not already. On your exhale, turn the palms down as you bend into the left knee. You're on the ball of the right foot. Really deeply bent into the left knee so that you have this shell for your torso like we did earlier. Maybe step the back foot just slightly forward. A prep mode here, noted from earlier. Palms to the hip creases. Inhale, lift the torso, maybe reach the arms up. Activate through the back of your right leg. Pull the lower ribs in. Sound like a broken record, but it's a nice reminder to myself too. Shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, open wide to warrior two, readjusting your right foot if needed. See that you can see your left toe inside your left knee. Look wherever is most comfortable for your neck today. And as you inhale, lengthen through the left leg. Exhale, turn both feet parallel. Inhale, lengthen the chest. Exhale, hinge forward at the hips, folded forward, palms underneath the shoulders. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Find your choices fold. Again, like I did maybe a week or two ago, since I have a block, I'm going to bring it underneath my forehead and bring the crown of my head toward the block. So I want to shift. I'm actually going to shift my block forward, shift the hips forward so they're not coming back behind you, but more try to be in line with the ankles and heels, bend the elbows. Again, this is just optional. I like to kind of bring toward the crown of my head toward the block because we like to have a closed chain in our forward folds. So the neck can be nice and long. Notice how the backs of the legs are opening up.
palms of water anywhere but the middle. Go ahead and bring them back. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, palms of the hip creases, gentle bend in the knee. Inhale, hinge up. Exhale, step to the middle of your mat. So I'm going to demonstrate coming into Garudasana, eagle pose. So definitely take a moment, either have a seat or stay standing to kind of keep active, have a sip of water. But then I'm going to come back into, since crescent lunge is going to be the prep of coming into it. So I'll demo facing you, and then I'll be practicing it with you. So crescent lunge, I'll be in crescent lunge, and that's what I said is going to be our nice prep pose. So I'll be cueing us to kind of get buoyant in the knees just a little bit. And in fact, I'll have our palms at our hips when we come into it. And let me step back for a moment so I don't get too close to the camera. I'm going to do a shortened crescent lunge just for the purpose of demoing. And so I'm going to, again, we'll bounce just a little bit in the knees, palms at the hips. And then you'll, on an exhale, swing your back foot forward. And then with the block, that's why it's nice to have the block, keep both knees bent. You'll cross your back knee in front of your front knee. And I'm going to bring my block to the lowest height. Deep bend in the knees as the shoulders stack on top of the hips. And then so right now, my left knee is on top, and it looks like my right knee to you. So our arms are going to come out at a T. And if this were my right leg on top, I would say right arm would come underneath. Give yourself a squeeze, or bring the backs of the arms together. Maybe you wrap the palms. So I'm going to rotate just for a moment so you can see from the side. The deeper you bend, the easier it is to come into this. And some folks can wrap the foot around. I can right now a little bit, but I'm a little wobbly. So I'm going to come out, have another sip of water. Okay, so come to the front of your mat, find Tadasana. Let the thoughts go. Any judgment of knowing where we're headed, where your balance is, let that self-judgment go. Bring the palms to the heart space. Sigh it out. Inhale, arms reach, heart lifts. Exhale, fold it forward. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, step your left foot back. So I'm not mirroring you since I'm not facing you. So you are in the prep pose for a lunge on your right side. Right knee is bent deeply. Bring the palms to your hips. Inhale, hinge up. Reach the arms up. Before we come into our eagle, our Garudasana, let's get a bit of a twist here. Exhale, twist it open toward your right knee. Again, I'm not mirroring you right now. So the arms kind of come out like warrior two across our shoulder height. We call this awkward twist, or at least I do. There might be a fancier name for it. And as you inhale, come back. Lengthen the right leg, bring the arms to the side. You're going to break for a moment. Palms to the hips. Exhale, rebend into the right knee, and that's where we're going to bounce just a little bit, get some buoyancy in the knees. And now exhale, lift off your left leg. Cross your left knee on top of the right. I'm going to reach for my block down here, step my toes there. So the left knee is stacked on top of the right thigh, arms out to a T. And now bring your left arm underneath your right. Bring the palms behind you in a hug, stack the shoulders, or find a different expression. Back to the forearms, maybe you wrap the palms. Or maybe you just bring the front of the forearms together. Shoulders away from the ears. Now, whatever expression you have in the forearms, slowly, so keep the forearms there, lift the left knee, keep the right knee bent, hinge forward on an inhale, totally optional as you press the left foot back. We're kind of a modified version of a warrior three, flexing through the left toes, trying to keep the hips level. Exhale, press your left foot back. Inhale. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, palms frame the front foot, step it forward. Half lift on your inhale. Exhale, fold. Sigh it out. You want to have your block ready on the other side. Half lift on an inhale. Exhale, palms press. Step your right foot back to your low lunge. Deep bend in your left knee. Hips are forward. Bring the palms to your hip creases. Inhale, rise up. Maybe reach the arms up. Breathing in. Breathing out. Inhale. Exhale, awkward twist toward your left. I'm not mirroring you. Couple breaths here. Inhale back to neutral. Lengthen the left leg, bring the arms to the side, give everything a break. Palms to the hips. Exhale, rebend into the left knee. Create some buoyancy by bending both knees. And when you are ready, take flight with your right leg, bend the right knee, stack it on top of the left, bending both knees. Maybe you find your block. Right leg is stacked on top, bring the arms out to the side. Bring the right arm underneath, give yourself a hug. Maybe bring the forearms together, maybe bring the backs of the forearms. Maybe bring the palms wrapped, and bending the knees deeply, shoulders away from the ears. Turning the elbows up to about shoulder height. Okay, now this is completely optional, keeping the upper body where it's at. Start to peel the right knee off, keep both knees deeply bent. So you inhale, hinge forward at the hips. Torso comes kind of parallel with the earth. Exhale, reach the right foot back. Keep the right foot flat, try to keep the hips nice and neutral. Lengthen the spine. Take another breath in. Exhale, step the right foot back. Inhale, reach up, lengthen through the arms. Exhale, palms frame the front foot. Move your block if you have it. Step back, downward facing dog. Inhale here. Exhale, release the knees. Find a nice, juicy child's pose. I like the tricep version, so I'm going to bend the elbows, bring the palms back behind my neck. You can either stack the palms or find reverse prayer. Take a couple more moments here. We're winding down, slowing things down. I sometimes have more seated postures at the end of my sequences with you all, but since we started with some of the gentle seated sequence, we're going to get to Shavasana very soon, don't you worry. Take a couple more breaths in your child's pose. And then when you're ready, walk the palms back, bring the shoulders stack on top of the hips, just as a transitional. The hips come to one side, lengthen the legs out in front of you. Dandasana one more time. Couple breaths here. We're going to bend the knees. Let the knees open. Bring the soles of the feet together, kind of like your favorite book that maybe you can get an electronic rental from Slover Library, shameless plug. So the feet, if they're closer to the seat, this is going to be a deeper stretch. If the feet are a little further away from you, it's going to be a little bit more restorative. So take your pick. Inhale, lengthen through the chest. Exhale, hinge forward at the hip, so the pelvis drops forward. And then drop in. Maybe with your block, bring your forehead to it. Sometimes you have to just kind of adjust a little bit. Taking a couple breaths here. thoughts are trying to come back in, try and let them go. Start to slow the breath if you haven't already. Inhale, hinge up.
Have any props near you that you would like for Shavasana? I'm going to have us come down and do one reclined twist. That's how I loved it in my practices, and then I'll cue us into Shavasana. So just have the things near you that you might like for Shavasana. Then come to the middle of your mat, and then slowly, in your preference, come down, spine to the earth. And then bring the arms out to a T or cactus arms, depending on what space you're working with. Press into the feet to lift the hips, and I'm not mirroring you. Lift the hips a little bit, and then shift the hips, to the right. As you exhale, the knees fall to the left, and then gaze wherever is most comfortable for you. So sometimes bringing a block between the knees or a blanket between or under the knees might help. Sometimes the left palm to the top of the right knee. Press the right shoulder down, and maybe, especially if your left palm is at your right knee, really press through the left elbow and notice that helps the right shoulder settle. And if that right shoulder is hanging out in space, bringing the right palm to the right hip kind of helps remove it from the equation. You don't have to worry about it. Take a couple more breaths here, slowing things down. Inhale back to neutral. Tap the toes down, readjust so that the hips come toward the left side a little bit, create space. Exhale, the knees fall to the right, and then make your adjustments. Each breath gets a little bit elongated. And you feel nice and balanced from one side to the next. Inhale back through neutral. Exhale, tap the feet down. If there's any other postures that you would like to take before I cue us into Shavasana, this would be your time. I'm going to not rush you. Of course, you can always pause this and then come back to the Shavasana cueing. It's the beauty of a home practice. I'm going to demo since I have some props here. Just placing the blocks kind of gently under kind of where the thighs meet the knees. And since I have sinus and asthma issues, I usually like to have a blanket, if I have one, and I do at home, under my head, lift my head up just a little bit. And then just be mindful if you have anything under you. You could have a rolled up towel or blanket under your knees. All right, so that was a little awkward, but here I am. So wherever you are, there you are. If you're taking some time for other postures, do whatever you need to do. For those of us that are in our Shavasana, our resting pose, let the feet splay open, create space between the side body and the arms, palms face up. One more time, take the shoulders nice and wide. So widen through the collarbones, let the shoulders settle away from the ears. Shavasana is so important, particularly now as we all have more responsibilities, unfortunately some more than others, where it's go, 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 even if it's at home. So many different roles that we all are fulfilling for other people. Let this fulfillment for yourself not be lost on you. Take the time to be still. Let the thoughts of the breath go and enjoy your Shavasana.
We'll stay here for a number of breaths. And I'll cue us out for our closing ritual. But feel free to stay here as long as you like. You are welcome to stay in Shavasana longer if you like. Only as you are ready, start to make subtle movements of the breath and body, coming back to earth, coming back to this moment. Maybe wiggle the fingers and the toes. And then only as you are ready, mindfully pull in one knee at a time to your chest. With the eyes closed, roll to one side for a breath or more. When you're ready, press into your outer palm. Come up to a seat and use the edges of your mat as a guide. Keeping your eyes closed or gazing softly down the nose. I'm going to share our closing chant. If you know it, feel free to say it along at home. And then afterward, I'll cue us for our optional ohms. I'll go through the chant and I'll say om. So let's take a couple open mouth exhales now, and then I'll lead into the chant. Inhale.
Sigh it out. Inhale, palms of the heart. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. May the thoughts, words, and actions of our own lives contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Namaste. Thank you once again for joining Bhav Brigade for our weekly Wednesday Flow at Home. For the foreseeable future, every Wednesday I will share a new class on our social media accounts, and they also will be shared on the Slover Library accounts, I think via their Facebook. And one announcement that I forgot to share at the beginning of class is, in addition to Slover sharing our classes with their patrons online, we will be going live from their Facebook page one Saturday a month. The first one is this coming Saturday, which I believe is April 24th at 11 a.m. The Facebook event does list it as a 75-minute practice, but it's going to be an hour long. I'm adding additional time just to account for any technology issues, announcements, that kind of a thing. So we will remind you of that on our social media accounts, but we encourage you, if you haven't already, to like the Facebook page for Slover Library, and we'll go live from their account. I'm very fortunate and grateful that my spouse works at Slover, so from home here he's able to sign me into the account. And that library has been very good to my family, and I know right now many of you that might typically, go there for classes, for books, for events, for community. We're not physically able to be there, but we can at least, through these online spaces, come together in ways that really matter right now to support each other. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening, and I'll see you next time.